here of 2020 LCK as we are going into the first game of this matchup here. GenG on blue.
See how the draft is going to unfold. We're looking to see if Griffin is going to keep going for the scaling types of team compositions and how GenG is going to look to approach this. Please let me see Soraka today. Valdez. One time, that's all I'm looking for. Talia being banned away, I think.
You saw Soraka in the ban window. There you go. LS, he's really angry right now. He's literally speechless. He's fuming. You guys
literally
don't even
seething.
Know. Yeah.
And definitely a little salty right now after seeing these bans.
Yumi's still available. It's
Yeah.
not the same, I understand, but we can have one healing support.
I can't quite read his lips, but I can't tell if Tarzan was just really frustrated with something that he just said. But his facial expression gave me the vibe that he's agitated. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading a little too much into it. As Mordekaiser does bite the dust, is this lining up for... Is lining up for set to get first picked?
I mean, I'm set for that. If they do want to go for that kind of ban, I'm ready to do it. And there you go. Set is going to be banned right off the bat as Ornn first pick. Okay. So we have something for you here, LS. We knew you were a little bit angry with Soraka getting banned, but...
There's my favorite Redbeard.
Yeah, B1.
Over there, yeah. B1 Ornn. Griffin now responding by hovering Aphelios. That's all I'm going to say. So I don't know if that is possibly what the Tryndamere hover is about.
Maybe.
Because maybe they've actually met many more times outside of that game and Rascals played Tryndamere, but I'm not sure. Tryndamere, I actually think, is in a fantastic spot right now. The problem is teammates will not want to play around him. This is a problem that many teams have with Kayle, Kassadin, champions that need a lot of time. Generally, getting the other four teammates to agree.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean...
Because everyone wants to be center of attention.
The word agree does not exist on solo queue. Summoner's Rift, whereas maybe it can in pro play. Look at that! Tryndamere ban! It's a real thing.
All right, well...
You don't usually just throw away a ban there. There has to be a reason.
Tryndamere, for a lot of people that don't know, he's not a bad champion at all. In fact, I would say that he's actually probably S tier. If you are really, really good at him, the champion is so obnoxious, so strong, and he has so many options that some of the other split pushers just don't have right now. He's very akin to Fiora as well, where even if he's 0-10, once he gets 2 items,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that he's 0-10. Champions like that are really gross. Just want to point that out, and I love it.
So it's like
Absolutely love
in
it.
the line of Soraka?
Oh, well, Soraka doesn't want to fall behind,
Yeah.
but she's still useful if she does. So, Griffin here with a pure Sin team composition, honestly. They're going to need a mage, I think, to come in here, because I don't think that you want only Elise as the source of magic damage for your team, but it looks like they want to go with Nami. This could be Aphelios top lane against Ornn, by the way, and then Lucian ADC with Aatrox in mid, I guess, against the Zoe, but looks like they're doing some swaps. We're going to find out what it's going to be at the end, but GenG's team composition is just so good.
Yeah.
Griffin's is... I don't even... honestly, I have no idea what to make out of this. This is straight out of solo queue. You know, like the poster for that movie? It was straight out of Compton. You ever see that movie?
Actually, I did, yeah.
Did you? Okay.
That is one movie that I have seen.
We need a tan to
You
draw
found one.
a straight out of solo queue.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, man,
this
there's
team
so
comp.
many things you can do with that.
This team composition is win by 10 minutes or just lose the game. Just go next. And I have to really wonder why, because Yukal is known for his mechanical ability. So why is Nahan being...
Isn't Nahan like a former big Lucian player? Like, didn't he used to play a lot of Lucian?
He does play a lot of Lucian, and I think that a lot of Western viewers, especially if you're new to watching the LCK here, you might think of Nahan when he was on his massive loss streak in the West. But, truth be told, I put Nahan at the best mid laner under Faker, below Chovy, Showmaker, Yukal, of course. So I put Nahan at like 5th, actually above BDD in 2019. So he's not slouching. He's improved so much. He's definitely very good, which is also why it's so surprising Yukal was brought in to replace him, and now he's not debuting.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely interesting to see that happen. So either way, guys, we have the game all loaded up, as it will be Gen.G up against Griffin, hopping onto the Rift. Match 8, game number 1. Let's get it going. No fan chance here, guys. There is an outbreak of coronavirus in the world, and we have banned the viewers from coming in for now. Hopefully that does change eventually, and we can get our great fan chance going once again.
All right, so we'll take a look at how this game is going to transpire. Mostly, all the attention has to be on Tarzan versus Klid. Klid just has to match and counter-gank Tarzan, because by going even, they're winning. As, okay, that's a bubble.
He's going to flash afterwards, and he's super dead. I mean, there's just no way you're going to get out of that. You had to flash the stun. I mean, that's one of those things that you see in solo queue where it'll happen, and you'll get hit by it because you didn't flash it because you wanted to be greedy and save it. And then people will just question mark ping you and just be like, okay, this is over.
Yeah.
You know? You have to flash that stun. You have to know that you're going to die.
I really do like that Griffin is living up to their team composition straight out of solo queue. The Nami was alt-tabbed. Just like in solo queue.
Viper right now, well, in solo queue normally you'd be standing still because you'd be typing expletives. You'd be typing expletives at your support. And I mean that's real. Like, it's a real thing.
All right. Taking a look at all the runes across the board. Nothing too out of the norm. As bot lane,
pretty standard.
Yeah. Bot lane's having a little slow push. Sorry about that. I had a hiccup. I did not want to hiccup into the microphone. Sword and Rascal sort of dancing with one another up here in top lane.
Where would you place Rascal? Because you talk about this Elite 4 or Elite 3, and now there's Red.
So
it's changing every
the Elite
day.
4 used to be Khan, Nuguri, Summit, and Keen. And then just below that would be Doron. And then just below that, I would have put Rascal or Sword. Well, actually, no, Sword would be probably below Rascal. Yeah, it would be Doron and then Rascal, but now we have the Elite 3 and then Red, which is Chovy.
Chovy.
He puts on his robe and wizard's hat. He makes his way to the top lane. Like, wait a minute, who's this?
It's me. Chovy.
Oh, man.
I wonder if anyone would get that boomer joke. That's an old internet joke. That is really old. Yeah, robe and wizard hat, man.
I was watching one of the league survey poll thingy-majiggies.
Yeah.
And it turns out that a very large age demographic is between 21 and 26 for League of Legends viewers.
Yeah, it does.
Which is,
surprise me.
I mean, that makes some people older than me. So if I'm getting it.
How? No, you're
Valdez.
You're 26.
I just turned 20. Valdez, I just turned 20. Okay.
You just turned 26, but you are 26.
Yeah, so,
right?
So if people have an earlier birthday than me, that's what I mean.
But you said like a large portion of the
No,
viewers.
not a large. No, I said some, Valdez.
Okay. I don't know. I have it in my mind that you're this boomer, but I always forget that you're younger than the rest of us. How old is Ejim actually?
How do I know about the boomer things more than you? I'm hipster too, I guess. I don't know.
Hipster boomer. Do we know how old Ejim is?
I want to say he's 28 or 29.
I think he might be a little bit older than that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. It would help if we had Atlas here.
Atlas would know.
Atlas would know.
Papa would be able to tell you his birthday too.
Papa would tell you all about his history in the OPL.
Papa,
he would tell you, like, 2015.
Papa would tell you his history, his birth date, time of birth. He would tell you everything.
Papa literally knows everything.
Yeah.
About anything. Okay, so we're getting an update. Thank you, G-Sun. 1994.
Oh, he's younger than... Okay. I thought he was older.
1994. Wow.
Oh, that's surprising.
What a youngin'.
Yeah.
I'll just have to tell him to get off my lawn when I cast with him for the first time. He's in like a new place. Just make him feel like really awkward. Oh boy. Well,
no, I want to point something out.
Who knows when that will happen?
Rascal went for Bommy's first item, and this is a interesting thing because when you go Bommies, you have to push, but you invest a lot of gold getting the Bommies, and you don't get that much value. You get the slight burn, which only applies if you stick to the opponent, which likely you don't, and you don't get a lot of HP. So if you do go Ruby Chain Vest, you can actually freeze the wave, and you get more HP, and you get more resistances. Now, you lose out a little bit on the burn.
What's the cost difference?
The cost difference is 300 gold.
Bommies is 900, right?
Yeah. Or
and
400 gold,
Chain
yeah.
Vest is...
Oh, well, the chain... I mean, obviously, you can pick up a Chain Vest with Bommies, too.
Oh, you're talking about... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean.
So at this point in the game, we're just having ping pong, and this is not what you want to have happening if you are Griffin. The Aatrox needs to get ahead. The Elise needs to get ahead. You also see Jarvan moving towards the Bommies as well, which means that he's going to be tank. And this is a nightmare situation, because when you have Aatrox, Lucian, and Aphelios on the team, there's a lot of incentive to get Ninja Tabi on several targets. And sure, Nami and Elise are going to be dealing some magic damage, but not a whole lot. Elise is also probably going to want to get Leandres. Now, we have a gank coming in here. This is really important. If they... What was that timing?
I think it was pretty close to him being seen. But yeah, that was a strange timing on the Graviton. But I suppose he's not seen here. The Cocoon not going to land, and Viper tanking so much damage trying to get him baited into this fight. And now we do have Jarvan. Lid waiting in the wings. He's level 6, gets the knockup. We have Zoe helping out from mid lane. It's going to be a win in the trade. And with Jarvan ahead like this, You do have to be careful with the Cataclysm online that Clid can engage, and they're making this like a whole spread out engage and invade all together as Rascal taking an awkward trade. Sword misses that final Q. Not sure.
This is the thing that I always talk about is if you're Griffin, you're the coaching staff, or you're the players, what are you thinking right now? You're thinking, well, my jungler can't gank. My jungler doesn't do anything. We're getting outscaled. I can feel that we're getting outscaled. What was I supposed to do inside a laning phase? Was I supposed to? Now, obviously, there is actually answers. There is lane manipulation that you need to be cognizant of relative to your jungler's path in order to get the lane states to be in exact locations for when the jungler arrives. That's how you steal away flashes and burn summoner spells off of the opponent. That is a really, really tall ask to do because the enemy team is also cognizant that you need to do that, and they're also pro players. So oftentimes you'll hear the comment, they're not robots. You're goddamn right they're not robots.
Yeah.
Which is why when your only obligation is to not get ganked and play lanes in a certain way to remain safe so that you get to coast freely into a super slated mid-game, it feels really good.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Sounds awesome. I wish I could have that happen.
Sit on your ass
To
and
my
then win
team.
it 15
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah, that's
Wow.
it truly is impressive.
And that is what is happening here. There was one attempt at a gank in the bottom lane, and Tarzan's still level 5. There have been not too many opportunities for him to gank, don't get me wrong.
Fellas, this game is over. Okay, I'm gonna
Is it
calling it really
now,
early.
or was it after the failed gank?
So,
so we can get a timestamp on this one? Just because I want to know.
I know some people really don't like when I make statements like this, and what I'm basically trying to say is that given the assumed level of play of the professional players on both sides, the amount of mistakes that Gen.G would have to make several times over is so unlikely that even if it happens once, they still have the scaling, they can recover. And then it can happen again, and then again. And because the Griffin team composition's champions are so slowed down due to nothing happening whatsoever, it's just so unnatural to assume that so many mistakes would keep happening over and over in order to cause them to lose this. So the gold score, it might only say 1,000, but also consider there's a Mountain Dragon, which normally Mountain bolsters armor the most. It's the stat you tend to have more of. And when all of the champions that are looking to deal damage on Griffin are physical damage and on hit, once the Ninja Tab eyes start coming in, which Jarvan likely going to pick that up, Warren already has it. A little surprising, Kellen has the Merc Treads. The only thing, but maybe it's because he perceives himself to be the front line that's going to get thrown in by Kalista and then hit with CCs.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like something that might not happen. So I do like the way that Gen.G are playing this very safe early on. In the bottom side, they know, okay, they're going to rotate down while we put pressure on the top side. That's fine. As long as we don't die, there's no problem. We can take the trade of keeping our bottom turret alive with 2 plates and you losing your top turret. Very much so.
Yeah.
And it's been a lull state since Nami died, basically. That was the last time we had any real action in this game, and it's almost like both the teams felt forced into this line of play because of the way that the compositions line up against each other. Like, I don't know, I feel like Tarzan could have done more early on.
He absolutely can, but so can the laners. But it derives from what you're saying right there. They have to do more, and they have to look for it. So the ask is on them, the responsibility is on them. But when you look at the lane matchups, outside of Lucian Zoe, there's not an awful lot of control. And when you consider how dangerous the counter ganks are that can come out from Jarvan, it's a real nightmare. So then, you keep playing the circle, and it's like, well, why would I do this to myself? And obviously, if you're a super elite team, you can choose things like this, and then you can beat lesser teams. And oftentimes we'll see this in the LCS, the LEC, or we'd see it in the LCK, where top teams could do it against Jin Air of old. But even then, Jin Air could drag the games out for 40 minutes, that was part of the meme. So I think it leads people to very false conclusions about drafts all too often, and especially if solo queue and scrims are influencing it, it can really plague you for a long time.
Absolutely, and there definitely is a reason why teams continue to draft the way they do. It's many different things. You know, it's comfort, it's lane matchups being prioritized over team composition. It's, you know, what works in scrims versus what doesn't, and, you know, certain stylistic measures of like, oh, my team likes to play in this manner, so we like to play these specific champions, which locks out some of the other ones. But especially because the game got off on the perfect foot for Gen.G with the first blood, and all their lanes really doing well with no ability to get any ganks going. This game, that is the reason why we are sitting here with Gen.G, with what feels like a massive lead, and now getting both dragons. They're going to pick that up easily. Griffin are just kind of sitting on their hands saying, I can't wait for this winter to be over, but kind of feels like that winter's going to end when the game ends.
It's a never-ending winter. It is. Yeah. It's always cloudy in Griffin.
And now, you're right on point with that one, with the Cloud Drake and the Cloud Rift. It's
Now, that, you know what? The Cloud Dragon is sort of a breath of fresh air, though, if you are a Griffin fan. It's not as threatening as an Infernal Soul, that's for sure. And the other thing about this is, well, you can also look at it from the angle of the Ornn is going to have the 20% added CDR to his ultimate, so if he does end up completely capping, I guess that's a little obnoxious. Usually CDR is a stat that is pretty laughable because you can always dance around it, depending on what the argument really is and what abilities it is that you're talking about. But regardless here, everything is just completely stable for Gen.G, and Griffin's only out right now is about 15 minutes away, and that's the Elder Dragon. And that's if Gen.G even allows it to spawn.
Yeah.
Gen.G could take the next Cloud Dragon and then say, okay, we're done. We don't need Elder to beat you.
Yeah.
We can even beat you without Baron because of Zoe. And Ornn just being able to dive turrets so easily in Siege.
They can get picked so nicely.
Yeah, they can do so much. So,
how far are we away from a designer comp with what Gen.G have, would you say? Is there anything you would change about what they have?
The only champion I don't personally like on it is actually the Jarvan. And that's mostly because I just think that there's other options that you could have had. You could have actually had Ornn in the jungle and then Gangplank top lane or something like that. That would give you way more scaling.
Yeah, that sounds
way
really
more
obnoxious. For sure.
But I think that we are ways away from having Ornn appear in the jungle, especially in LCK.
Yeah.
Not that he can't, but has a very different play style. And again, like we talked about earlier, getting all the teammates to agree it's a task in itself.
Yeah.
In professional league.
That was one of the other things that I forgot to mention as to reasons why we may not see certain drafts or styles played by certain teams. Players might just not want to do it. As Viper and iRove are down here together, pushing against Rascal. So far they've been quite successful in terms of what they're getting there, but they're losing a lot in other places. He's gonna dodge that one, sends out a Battle Star. They pick up Shirley while pushing the mid lane. And it's not super early on in the game because it was so stale. So even if they get a couple of turrets here, not sure if this is too early or not.
I wouldn't actually mind, by the way, if Rascal ended up going Frozen Heart second, rather than going for the Abyssal Mask or something like that. I think that you can complete the Sunfire, go for the Frozen Heart, because you don't really need to consider the Elise damage, although I can understand it if he does eventually purchase the Catalyst in the Negatron, but he's been sitting on the Sunfire boots for so long, he hasn't built an item. I don't know what he's waiting on.
He's playing the mind game. He's like, if I don't buy items, then maybe the team against me won't think I'm as strong as I actually am. You ever think about that?
You know what? You can actually do that on I believe Cho'Gath at level 11, when it gives you the option to up the skill point in R. You stay level 11, and then they jump on you, and then you upgrade level 11. You get all the health.
Real? What?
Yeah, that's a little mechanic. And also, here's an Echo mechanic for you if you're an Echo player in solo queue. Don't skill your R at level 6. Just leave the point unregistered. The opponents might go on you thinking he doesn't have R.
Yeah.
Then you skill the point, the R activates. So you can really deceive people with stuff like that. It's definitely very, very good. So Cho'Gath, Echo, those are two champions I can think of that can do little cute things like that. I'm trying to think if there's other champions like that. None that are coming to my head. If anyone knows of any others, you can tweet at us. I can't think of any deceiving mechanics like that are in the game.
Yeah, not that I can really think of off the top of my head right now. As, yeah, I'm not sure how this feels as Griffin, because from minute one, they absolutely had to feel like they were down in the dumps. From the second the Nami went down and then Tarzan and their laners weren't able to put anything together, it's like, okay, well, I guess we'll see you guys next game. Because, I mean, we're sitting here at 20 minutes. Hopefully, you know, Gen.G throws an Elder or a Baron or something like that away. Look at this, Rascal just going to ult here. He doesn't have any help, so he's like, I mean, we have a Cloud Drake. Might as well just throw it out. We're not going to be engaging anytime soon. I'd rather just clear this wave.
I'm not even going to go there on Zoe's items. Whatever. So when you're sieging and poking, the enemy isn't on top of you. They don't get to heal, or even if they have healing. Now, yes, Nami has healing. Nami has a redemption, but how about you just get a death cap and you know, I can't really make a pop. I'm sorry, my throat is so. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
I can't do it either. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
That sound is probably getting
you know,
through.
just pop them.
Yeah, snap your fingers. Especially for Nami, I mean, more so than anyone else. But I mean, the Zoe can potentially do that to Nami, Aphelios.
No, I will say the Oblivion Orb is a really good item here. No one has magic resistance on Griffin. Okay, people always say, "Why do you hate Morello so much? It gives magic pen." No, it doesn't. Oblivion Orb gives the magic pen. Morello happens to have it as well, but if Zoe just sat on Oblivion Orb and then goes into Rabadon's Death Cap, that would do so much more in the siege and poke scenarios as well as the pick scenarios, because the damage comes in from the Paddle Star in one fell swoop. So it doesn't really matter about any sort of a healing debuff or anything of that nature, especially because Zoe's not applying it to multiple targets in a fight, and that's not how your team composition is designed to fight.
You know, LS, I think I figured it out.
Also, it's an Ornn item, so.
Yeah,
you know.
Building an Ornn item, probably a good idea. You may want to do that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And I was going to make a joke about inventory slots because she has two, you know. But I figured, you know, we've been there, done that.
Why is Aphelios pushing out the wave? I don't know. He's got somewhere to be right now.
Well, I mean, it's winter, you know. You're trying to do everything to
he's
stop from freezing.
Okay.
You know what you need?
He's trying to plow his driveway.
Yeah, exactly.
But what he doesn't know is that Kalissa's about to plow right through him.
So when you're living, especially in the U.S., I don't know about other places, but you're like legally required, I believe, to shovel your own sidewalk.
Yes.
That's like outside of your house.
Rhode Island is like that.
That's like Aphelios. He doesn't have anywhere to go in his car, but he still has to plow the driveway. Or not the driveway, but he gets to the driveway anyway because he will have to go somewhere eventually. So I think I figured it out. That's why he's clearing the lanes.
Warren with the ornament upgrade. Here we go.
All right, we got one big team fight coming on in. It is going to zone them off the turret. And props to GenG. They don't have to go super deep. They don't have to force it. They did the right thing.
We were talking about this. This is the way that they fight. They siege a turret with Ornn and Zoe. Look to get something. If they do, they march on. They don't, they back up.
Yeah, that's
and if Griffin wants to try to get a little, they want to get a little cheeky and cast World Ender on Aatrox and try to run in with a Nami ultimate, Tarek is just gonna, he's gonna raise his hand. Put an end to that real quick.
Yeah. That'll be the end of you.
Let's take a look here at what ends up happening. Zoe comes over, throws out the bubble onto Aphelios. And they didn't get anything, but they did get the turret, and they don't need to get anything. And I love games like this. It might be very boring to the viewers. And if it is boring, well, I don't know. Make fun of Valdez. But if it is boring, the reason that it's exciting is because you get to see both team compositions in their true pure forms. And we get to see how weak one is actually compared to the other.
You just like it because it's proving you right.
No.
LS was right the whole time. Wow, look at this smarty pants.
So, 20 seconds until Cloud Drake ends up coming up. And this is going to be the Cloud Soul, by the way.
Yep.
As Griffin, you can't do anything.
Ornn ult's available
Your comp
again.
sucks.
Yep.
God.
I thought you loved this kind of game.
I do.
You sound like you're in physical pain.
I really, I just like watching good League of Legends. And when you get comps like this, it's not good League of Legends.
But you do like the way that GenG is playing.
I do like how GenG's playing.
Because they're playing
That's
it perfectly.
good League of Legends.
Yeah. What else would they do?
Which is why the game is really fun to talk about, because they're piloting it the way that they're supposed to. Now, this isn't.
Oh boy. Well, this
necessary,
is just
but
kind of desperation right now. As Cloud Drake is up, that's a 3-man knockup, and we got Tarek, and they're looking at Kalista just hopping around like a happy little bunny, gonna take it down. Ornn, meanwhile, just gonna take out the Baron. That's not even with a smite, as this is just absolute disaster for Griffin, as GenG are piling it on.
Neha needs to be a little manner right now and head on over to the Kalista for the pentakill.
Yo, where are you going, buddy?
I don't know, he's going over the Wolves.
They might be going to the bench after this game. Sorry, Neha. It's not your fault.
All right.
I just felt like throwing some shade, because
well, I mean,
this game has been very one-sided.
Oh, man. Well, it might be UCAN coming in here for game number 2, as it really is looking like all she wrote. GenG are playing it so slow and methodical. I really like to see it. I can't reiterate that enough. This is a very enjoyable game.
Just watch Baker, or not Baker, Ruler in this fight. Let's go in. I'm gonna use Flash. And he did. And you can't really blame him for that one. It's probably gonna be another 5 minutes until the next fight comes up anyway.
BDD now going for the death cap, and again, a really nice thing that he did. He bought an elixir, didn't have enough gold for the death cap, buys the elixir to get as much firepower for the end game fight. If you're playing a solo queue game or something, you're on an amateur team, whatever, before an end game fight, if you know it's going to be the last one, do whatever you can to get as much power. Major neutral objective that's going to change the face of the game, do whatever you can, buy elixir, stunt your build temporarily, because if you lose that objective, you're probably going to lose anyway. But in this instance, obviously, BDD knows that, okay, I'm not going to reach Rabadon's death cap. Let me just get as much ammo as I can for this fight, as Sword is, well...
he saw this before in another game, and he figured he'd try it out as well. Yep, the game is over, guys, as Tarek Ultimate is coming on in, and there is absolutely nothing that Griffin do unless they dive in the fountain, and that will not happen here, as that will be the end of this one. I don't really know who to give the MVP to be honest, because
The draft.
yeah, I don't know. That's who I would give it to. Nobody really stood out in a big way.
No one. This is an MVP that is completely up in the air.
Yeah. You know, the camera went to Ruler. Let's give it to Ruler.
He didn't do anything. I guess realistically, it's Clid. It has to be Clid just because of the early game, nothing ended up happening, but he found himself up in levels. And he was also there, if you remember, to jump on Elise. I would feel really gross if Ruler simply gets it on the onus that he got a quadra kill around the Baron that Griffin had no business
you know it's
starting.
Coming. You
I
know
already
it's
know
coming.
that it's coming. You know what? Can I do a non? Can I do a
you
non-vote?
don't have to vote. I'll vote for
Yeah.
for good old
Great. Great. The guy. There's no MVP.
The guy's not happy.
The guy collecting the MVP votes.
He's so angry.
Not happy right now.
Yeah. It's like, that's impossible. What? There can't be no MVP. But it's true. I mean, there really was no MVP of that game. Even Clid, I mean, he was just...
I would give it.
like
I would give it to Clid, but I don't know. Like, I would feel.
Yeah.
I would feel bad if some vote that I did swing something.
Yeah.
Because it should just have a lot of random points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Watch me get in trouble for this. I don't even know. Get in trouble for doing my job. I like.
You'll be fine. Look at this Viper. He never stood a chance. This composition was just disgusting, to be honest.
Really, if there was a way to give it to the coach, I would. If we believe that the coach is always the one drafting, which isn't always the case, but if there was a way to allocate MVP points towards something like that, I would definitely do so.
Yeah, I thought about giving it to BDD as well, because it felt like he was doing the most, but that's just kind of Zoe things, you know? Like, she's always going to be hopping around, bouncing around. Doesn't really mean that she was doing the most in the game. But either way, guys, big draft win for Gen.G in game number 1. And unfortunately, not much else. Hopefully, game number 2 brings us some more interesting League of Legends and maybe even some Soraka for Love Soraka. We'll be back after this break.